Oh, well, hello. I'm Ed Bradley. Welcome to 60 Minutes. Tonight on the show, we're going to examine several Supreme Court cases that dealt with groundbreaking freedom of speech issues. The cases involve burning flags and freedom of press encroachments, obscene literature, and, of course, pornographic magazines. Tonight, our first segment will be the Supreme Court case Texas v. Johnson. Today with me, I have Professor of Political Sciences at the University of Texas, Professor Bob, and pardon me if I pronounce this wrong, Bob, Arbuckle Spielen.
Actually, it's just Arbuckle. The Spielen is silent.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, thank you for coming today, Professor.
Thank you.
So, explain to the audience, Professor, the case of Texas versus Johnson.
In 1984, in front of Dallas City Hall, Greg Johnson burned a flag in protest of the Reagan administration. He was then tried and convicted under a Texas state law prohibiting flag desecration. It was then appealed to the Supreme Court.
Professor Arbuckle, what was the outcome of the case?
To figure this case out, they had to look at the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. They then decided in a 5-4 vote that Johnson's actions were a legal form of protest and were not unconstitutional. The majority opinion was given by Justice William J. Brennan Jr., and the dissenting opinion was given by Justices Rehnquist and Justices O'Connor and White.
In your own professional opinion, do you think there's room for this case to ever come up again?
No, this case did not turn over any previous cases and has not been turned over since. And in my professional opinion, I really feel that this case could be brought up again because the topic of flag burning is very sensitive to most Americans.
Professor, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Your insight has been more than helpful.
No problem.
Hi, this is Vance, here with Sponge Wow. It's a sponge, it's a sponge, it's a sponge. Wow. Super absorbent, put it in the water, soak it all up. There it is, full of water. Now, if you happen to spill something on your rug, let's say you get a spill, your rug is soaked. Look at that, under there, there's your mildew. That is going to smell. Take your sponge, mop it up, just like that. See, there's at least 50% of the water right there. Now, this is made up in Minnesota. Minnesota has great things. Brett Favre. It's a sponge, lunge, grunge, all great. This is for your floor, the carpet, the counter, the car, the sidewalk, your neighbor, the dog, the kid, the gay, the wife. Because let's be honest, we all know who's going to be using Sponge Wow. Here we go. Sponge Wow. Wow.
Our next guest on the program is Professor Poli Sci of the University of Kansas, Professor Moses Finkelstein. Thank you for coming on the program, Moses. Today, Professor, you're here to talk to us about the Supreme Court case, Miami Herald Publishing Company versus Tornillo. Tell us about that case.
The Miami Herald published 2 editorials criticizing Tornillo and his candidacy. He demanded that the Herald publish his responses to the editorials. When the Herald refused, Tornillo sued in Dade County Circuit Court under Florida Statute Section 104.38, which granted political candidates criticized by any newspaper the right to have their responses to the criticisms published. The Herald challenged the statute as a violation of the Free Press Clause of the First Amendment. The Circuit Court ruled that the statute was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court of Florida reversed this decision. The main question of the case was whether the Florida law violated the Free Press Clause of the First Amendment applied to the states through the 14th Amendment. The decision was 9 votes for Miami Herald Publishing Company and 0 votes against. The majority opinion was written by Justice Warren E. Burger. There was no dissenting opinion because of the unanimous decision. Because it was a unanimous decision, there was no dissenting opinion. Once again, because it was a unanimous decision, there was no dissenting opinion.
Are you tired of doing all those meaningless household chores that leave you tired and sore? Sweeping the kitchen floor, for example. What a pain. And let's not forget dusting. Wouldn't life be so much better if you didn't have to deal with all of these problems? Fortunately, there's a solution. Call now, and brought right to your door will be our brand new product. Slave! Everyone could use a slave of their very own. Life will be so much easier once you call. Use your slave to perform any task that you previously had to endure. Simply unwrap our safety packaging and remove your personal slave. Remove the mouth guard and you're ready to go. Take Slave outdoors and your yard work will go faster than ever before. If he messes up, don't be afraid to use a little light discipline. Raking leaves will be a thing of the past. Your slave will take care of it on his own. Before a slave is sent out, he is trained to perform any task his master desires, even if it takes a long time. Slave will even make your food for you. Just tell him what you want to eat and he'll have it ready in no time. Just be sure you also feed your slave. One of our common complaints is from users who had their slaves unexpectedly expire only to discover that the reason was they forgot to feed them. Have you ever hopped into bed only to find that it's freezing cold? Who can possibly sleep like that? Or if you're lonely and need someone to keep you company, Slave will be happy to hop in and warm that bed up for you. Call now, 814-54-SLAVE.